the Israeli-Palestinian conflict was made in Britain, and the current war in Gaza is a direct consequence of the Balfour Declaration of 1917, because towards the end of the First World War, Britain allied itself with the Zionist movement. And Zionism is a settler colonial movement. Its ultimate aim was to establish an independent Jewish state in Palestine. But the word Jewish state would have provoked opposition, and therefore the Zionists didn't talk about a Jewish state, but a national home for the Jewish people.
Zionism as a project was always had as an intent to expunge Palestinians from their land, to remove Palestinians from their land. And this was shared by most of the political elites, if not all the political elites who subscribe to the Zionist ideology. Is that a fair way to express the intent of Zionism?
To achieve a Jewish state in a situation where the great majority were Arabs, you had to eliminate, to remove the Arabs. And in the late 1930s, there were major debates in the Zionist movement about transfer. Transfer is a polite word for expulsion. So there were debates. So this was not a foreign idea to Zionism. It was one of the options that were considered. But it's only in 1948 that ethnic cleansing was actually practiced. In 1917, the Arabs were 90% and the Jews were 10%, and the Jews owned only 2% of the land. And yet Britain allocated to the Jewish minority national rights, a national home, and denied political or the right to self-determination to the Palestinian majority. Britain said that it would support a national home for the Jewish people, provided it did not compromise the civil and religious rights of what was described as the non-Jewish communities in Palestine. So the 90% were just marginal, insignificant, the non-Jewish communities in Palestine, and only the Jews mattered. The cornerstone of the British mandate in Palestine was to deny democracy until the Jews became the majority. And this only happened in 1948 during the war as a result of the Jewish minority carrying out the ethnic cleansing of Palestine. The 750,000 Palestinians became refugees, and the name Palestine was wiped off the map. Balfour, Lloyd George, and Churchill have all said subsequently that when they talked about a national home for the Jews, they meant a state. The Balfour Declaration was a classic colonial document because it completely disregarded the rights and the aspirations of the majority of the people. So they were all old-fashioned British colonialists, and Zionist colonialism fitted in with the worldview. And there was also a racist element behind British policy in Palestine, and that is they looked down on Arabs as inferior. And Churchill said, referring to the Palestinians, just because a dog has lived a long time in the manger doesn't give the dog a right over the manger.
Yeah.
And I think that, he said, I think that the Arabs should make way for a better race, a wiser race, a world-wise race. They should make way for them, for the Jews. So you couldn't have a more stark example of the racism of the British ruling elite. And this famous speech by famous testimony by Churchill is shocking, but it's not surprising, because racism and imperialism always went hand in hand.